Hey, what's good, my brothers? This is Enemy Stand User. Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 209 dropped a literal bomb of a chapter. Japan is under military intervention, sorcerers are being hunted down and captured, the Culling Games have fulfilled its role, and the entire nation is being prepped for a plan involving Sukuna and the assimilation with Lord Tengen. This is sheer chaos. The story has dipped into madness and is reaching a critical point of no return now that all the pieces are finally coming together. Today we will be covering chapter 209 and the insane theories and details that this chapter has unfolded. Right now you can definitely say that we have reached, or at least we are entering, the endgame stage for Jujutsu Kaisen. It's pretty exciting seeing this arc and all these players culminating in such a big event, so let's get right into it. This new colony invasion POV is set a bit like a flashback, since the Tomb of the Star mini arc was the most recent event in the story, and of course we got that amazing cliffhanger of Kenjaku reaching Tengen's main body for the merger. That took place on the 16th of November and all the preparations were completed. So now we are looking back, likely when we left off chapter 201 when the Sorcerer Hunt begun, starting on the night of November 14th. So the US military makes its move on the major Japan colonies and begins its invasion. I really love Gege's art style when drawing the modern military and the special operatives. It truly feels like this is a night raid. But if you remember, when players actually enter colonies, an event occurs where the targets get teleported or spawned in some random part of the colony map. Think of it like in real life playing a battle royale game like PUBG, Warzone, etc. A player would spawn in the sky or whatever, but that only happens when a player responds to the Kogane's question before entering, like a confirmation. So if one just enters the colony like the military and ignores the game system, they just enter normally. But what's more intriguing is that when Kenjaku and Uraume are introduced, it looks like they are talking in the Zenin estate, and they're specifically in the discipline room where curses are held. It's really the same type of chamber where Mai died. It's a little odd as to why they will be in such a place, and more interesting when we see a dead body later on in the chapter that raises more questions. But the real shock is how Uraume treated this chamber like a place to make a bath, to satisfy Sukuna. Jujutsu Kaisen takes a lot from Buddhism, and the kanji that Uraume uses means bath or ablution. Ablution in Buddhism is a commemoration of a Buddha's birthday or their enlightenment. It can involve participating in a ritual which water is used symbolically to purify the mind and spirit. So we know Kenjaku is using the events of the Culling Games to force humans to the other side and sparking a dark evolution in Japan. But this preparation Uraume is referring to is probably what Sukuna mentioned in their brief interaction, because this might be his plan to reincarnate as the king. I think there will be some grand equinox for Sukuna's rebirth. He is literally the eye of the storm of the new age. So whatever this bath ritual will be, it's gonna be pretty freaking crazy. But before divulging into the purpose of the games, let's actually go over some interesting points of the chapter and the characters that's in it. First off, now that the colony invasions have begun, the colony players have noticed trouble is brewing and happening, and we see Amai, Hazanoki, and the GOAT Haguruma. Let's go for real. So initially we actually see the military's tactics as they use conventional means, and the army uses flash grenades and even tasers to take down weaker sorcerers and capture them. And of course, Remy is like the prime example of a weak sorcerer getting swatted. They really did her dirty with how they captured her and tranked her. But the US goal is to take sorcerers alive, and we see that they have a lot of kidnapped people, probably the Japanese and other weak people. One person of interest is a pretty cool looking operative girl who leads one mission team, and I really like their design and style. But these military forces have orders from the general to capture sorcerers alive, and they've seemed to have made a game out of it based on captured targets. The girl operative actually managed to kill a sorcerer as her team brings in a body bag. So even though their objective is to capture alive, at worst, they could keep the brain intact as her men bring in the body. It's actually interesting how they describe shamans because conventional arms do not work on them, at least not well. Grenades aren't effective, tasers do not penetrate, even 50 caliber bullets really do nothing against strong sorcerers. And who they are talking about is just some fodder sorcerer, being the Culling Game player Haba. It's pretty crazy how they actually managed to kill Haba, but Haba definitely left his mark on her injured team and even gave her a scar on the face from their encounter. So of course we know Haba is he's weak, he's just some random fodder, but he causes this much trouble for the military. Compared to people, funny enough, sorcerers might as well be like supermen to them, but they take notice to 3 specific types of sorcerer. Weak ones that are easy to capture, quote unquote monsters that are difficult to deal with, and the ones that scale beyond what even the military can handle. Then we see an example of an extreme case as Hazanoki pulls up, he charges in and quite easily dispatches soldiers with his exploding flesh. And now we get a better picture of Kenjaku's goal. Using foreign militaries, they will undoubtedly clash with sorcerers in various colonies. And using the cursed energy from these colonies, they will trigger the assimilation with Tengen. However, given these circumstances, the goal was never directly for the sorcerers and the military to fight, but for non-sorcerers to fall at the hands of curses, shamans, and the supernatural, because the military and non-sorcerers, they cannot win. It will be a massacre. If you think back to Reggie's words, he mentioned a bomb was going to be dropped soon because the Culling Games were at its climax, and if the goal was just cursed energy, they would have long drawn out sorcerer battles. Remember, Tengen estimated the Culling Games to last 2 months, but within days, just 2 weeks, the colonies have entered a stalemate because the weak have died and only the strong remain to purge the weak, accelerating that cursed energy growth. So there is more to this ritual. It seems Japanese people are more closely associated as non-sorcerers since they have a link with cursed energy, and a curse befell on every Japanese citizen. However, foreigners have no connection to cursed energy, but nonetheless, it's all the same when they die. The object of death is what Kenjaku seeks to exploit, because all humans could possess some cursed energy even if the Japanese are more attuned with it. Death carries a heavy load that mutates the brain at the end. So through death, this will spark a dark evolution of cursed energy that will begin to assimilate when Tengen is harnessed. This is super interesting because now that this invasion is at night, cursed spirits are more vicious and will kill more people and give rise to more cursed energy and more curses. You might have noticed, but while Kenjaku and Uruume are having this conversation, they come across a dead body in the Zenin estate. And that's Ogi Zenin. That is his corpse, and you can see his shiitake shirt in his hakama pants, and he was sliced down by Maki. So Kenjaku uses his curse to eat this corpse as they talk about the colony invasion. So it seems like they plan on also using the death of soldiers, sorcerers, and citizens to strengthen the barrier's cursed energy and evolve Japan to the other side. It's a very touchy theory, but when you look at this very creepy cursed spirit, it reminds me of a human, a vengeful curse. It clearly just came from a person. So I wonder if recycling cursed energy and exploiting death in this manner would give rise to more curses like this and more vengeful spirits. All very deep stuff. But the chapter continues as our main squad of Yuji, Megumi, Takaba, and Angel encounter more American soldiers and try and deal with them. Yuji effortlessly kicks the flash bomb away, Megumi and Angel get away, and Sakaba absolutely trolls and does some funny dance as he's getting shot at. I'm telling you, Takaba's on some Looney Tunes fiction right now. I love it. His first reaction is the taunt, but the chapter ends with Megumi contemplating on how to engage these soldiers. So this invasion arc is heating up as the focus may shift to our main POV. Yege is cooking heat right now. This new development means the colony assimilation has already happened, and the process to resurrect Sukuna is underway. Because real time, we already reached Tengen on the 16th, so now we get to see how each of these invasions play out over the course of these couple of days. Maybe even visit each colony invaded by a different country in a different POV, like Yuji's group fighting America, Maki's group could be fighting China, Hakari's team could be fighting the Middle East. I don't know, maybe our sorcerers can actually use their 359 points to add new rules like colony travel. Finally, if our sorcerers combine their strength now, they would be unstoppable. I can't even imagine if any of these two groups come together how strong they would be, let alone all of them. Maki, Hakari, Kashimo, Uro, Ryu, Yuta. They would clean house. If the military tried to hunt them, that's guaranteed a kill streak. That's a bloodbath. Crazy. And I'm sure at this point, finding a means to stop Kenjaku and save the innocent is the top priority, since we already have the points to solve these games, but we already know Kenjaku has technically won. So it's going to be interesting how all of this plays out. But please remember to share you guys' thoughts down below, especially for this chapter. I'd really love to hear what you guys all have to say. But this has been Enemy Stand User, and I'll see you awesome guys in the next one. Bye-bye.